Speaking about the elections are not rigged. That's according to Londiwe Mntambo, an activist and executive director of We the People. Those who suggest otherwise are misleading the people about voting. Her volunteer organization called The People. We the People was established to encourage people to take part in democratic elections and government. She now joins us in studio. Apologies for that. It is actually Londiwe. Londiwe, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you so much.
Why do you say that the elections are not rigged? What do you base this on?
Firstly, the organization is called We Are the People, not We the People. That's a different organization. So I think the conversation around elections being rigged right now is being used as a fear-mongering kind of tactic. I think the more you say to people the elections are going to be rigged, the more people won't show up to the poll. And so the result that we get is the result that we get.
The voter turnout.
The voter turnout is the voter turnout that we get is the voter turnout that we get.
Yeah.
I think voter turnout is incredibly important, and I think particularly in this election, we shouldn't be fear-mongering people into not showing up to the polls. I think more than anything else, more than any other election, it's important for us to encourage people to show up for the polls.
Yeah. So shouldn't the messaging then be that maybe there is a possibility of an election being rigged? The possibility is there, because we're dealing with human beings here. But rather what we should be doing is emphasizing on the part around participating in the elections, which in part also includes being vigilant.
Yeah. I mean, I think generally there's always a possibility of elections being rigged, right? Generally, that's a general possibility. But I think I think you're right. It's important for us to emphasize participation. It's important for us to emphasize conversations between voters between now and May 29. What are you and I, as the voters, talking about? What are we trying to achieve on May 29? I was part of a conversation just a couple of days ago where it was a group of young people who were engaging with the premier candidates of Gauteng. And one of the things that the young people emphasized was they want to, they are going to show up for the polls, they're going to show up for the vote, but they specifically want to see South Africa's anger in this voter turnout.
What do they describe it as? What is that anger?
So for them, and I assume in all the different conversations that they participate in, the conversation has really been about change. How do we use our vote in a way that the voter wins? And not necessarily, we're not just handing over power to a particular political party. And so for them, change and the frustration with the current government is what they want to see in the results of the election.
Do you think that the IEC is doing enough?
In terms of?
In terms of voter education. And also, for instance, to allay these fears that you speak about an election being rigged.
Yeah. So I think they can do more, particularly about in terms of allaying the fears around the election being rigged. I think they can share a little bit more about how the election actually works. We all know, votes are counted in front of us.
Like the box is sealed in front of a party agent. Exactly. It is open in front of party agents. Yeah.
And also, when they count and a vote goes to Londiwe Mntambo, that's publicly known, right? That's happening in front of us. And I think maybe a little bit more, whether it's a digital campaign, whether it's a physical sort of on-the-ground campaign, I think the IEC can do a little bit more in terms of just allowing people, or rather getting people to rest assured the election will not is not in jeopardy in any kind of way.
Just quickly, what about the media? What about us? What do you think we should be doing more?
Yeah, I think all of us, media, civil society, all of us need to be, one, having the conversation about elections. Everywhere we are, everywhere we go, we have to talk about May 29. The second thing, I think we can also be a little bit more, information sharing is important. Kunama ballot out 3 in this election. For some people, that's the first time that they'll ever encounter 3 ballots, right? And it's all of our first time encountering 3 ballots at a national level. And so, you know, there are a lot of people who are confused about the 3 ballots. What does it mean? How does it affect the way that I vote? Am I splitting my vote? All of those questions. And I think Tina, as civil society, and I think yourselves as the media, need to be answering those questions in ways that are ezwakalayo, eziwa abantu. Not in answering those questions in ways that are difficult to understand, that are difficult to consume. I think we need to make politics a little bit more consumable.
Exactly.
Yeah.